Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the creative mode, in which today we are going to be messing around and trying to build a brand new vehicle using the Better Future wheels. Now, the Better Future wheels, I've got to be honest, I have been ignoring quite a lot because of all the other exciting weapons and the ability to fly and all the new hovers. Just all of these things coming from Better Future have been utterly amazing. So the wheels, I've been quite mean and just completely ignored them, but no more. Today what I want to build is a quite small, medium-sized craft. For once I will try to stick to that, which is just there for basic transport and a little bit of firepower, so it's just nice to get around the immediate area. But what I really want is a vehicle which can handle terrain well. Now it seems like these wheels do this job fairly well. I think there are other wheels which do them a little bit better, but no major problems though. These wheels do seem quite good at that, and they are also really easy to control, so hopefully these wheels will be my new favourite of all time, or at least they're going to be cool. And of course I will be using Better Future as the main blocks of this craft, as I want it to look a bit, I don't know, shuttlecrafty? Anyway, let's get building. So I'm thinking is a somewhat large top section here, going back a little bit more, and then underneath it'll look a bit spindly if it turns out how I'm thinking it might turn out. It'll go inwards and then back outwards again for the wheels, so it looks like there's a mechanical section, then the wheels, so all the different sections appear to be a bit more disjointed, because I think that would look interesting. The problem is I don't know if I have the technical prowess to make this thing look good, but I'm going to try. Okay, so the cap is getting built. Now, one thing which is good about not building something too big is the shield placement. If we build this quite small, we can have the shields on the extremities very, very easily. This means the shield will go out very, very far ahead of us, and then enemy explosive weapons, and obviously missiles more specifically, will not be quite as effective versus us. I feel like we could make something quite effective here, something which is just easy to use and just pleasant to use, not too much overkill. Now the thing is, what type of weapon do I want to use? Now, I want to avoid missiles again, because, well, they just make things a little bit boring sometimes, but I'm not sure what weapons I am going to choose. Now the problem with this weapon, even though it looks awesome, is it can't aim down at all. So if we did use that, I'd have to have it either on the side, sort of upside down, or perhaps almost like a scorpion stinger. I could have them upside down up here, which would be interesting. Not too sure just yet. Still, we continue to build. Just a quick test to make sure this would actually work. Yes, it certainly would. I am now really tempted to have upside down Gatling lasers on a ground vehicle. The problem is making this look decent will be difficult to say the least. Just testing out the wheels, and yeah, they do seem to be quite good, honestly. A lot better than I originally thought they were, so I think this will end up quite well. Yeah, I think this build will be just fine. Now, I do want this to have a bit more going for it though, so this will be a little bit taller, which will look a little bit odd, but other than that, I think I'm slowly getting the grasp of what I want this to look like in the end. Also, I probably will use at least one very weak gyroscope, just to help it out a little bit on these bumps, because it does like to bounce a lot, and I can imagine us accidentally flipping this thing. But I don't want to go too much into gyroscopes though, because otherwise that can really mess up climbing. So there's maybe one venture on the inside, or perhaps just one of the Better Future gyros, one of the smaller active ones. Let's continue. What about something like this? So we have 4 of the Gatling lasers. These should be okay at long range, because although they won't be able to turn in too much, they should be able to turn in enough that as long as the enemy isn't too close to us, we should still be able to hit them with all of our weapons. And that's going to be quite a lot of damage and quite a lot of range. And it's only 4 weapons as well, so it's still not very much, which is kind of what we're going for. It also means I can connect these up on the sides here and perhaps turn them into weapon pods. I think that'll be okay. What I'm going to do is quickly add some wheels to this just so we can move, and then I'm going to test this in the R&D mode. Oh yeah, that works just fine. Lovely. Whoa, look at that turning speed. That's really bizarre. Okay. Don't like how it looks at the moment on the bottom, but still. Yep, still able to shoot. Okay, let's get nice and close to this target. Let's see how close we can be. Ooh, turning when moving isn't that great, though. Okay, so let's say about here. Well, they're firing at different locations, but... No, actually, that's fine. Never mind. All of the problems I thought it would have apparently just doesn't. Lovely. Yep, this will definitely work out just fine. Definitely want boosters on this thing, though. These wheels are not that fast. They're really smooth and easy to control, which is lovely, but their speed is not exactly the best. Though saying that, we are quite heavy as well. Lots of Hawkeye batteries. Still fine at climbing, though. Okay. Oh, okay, you're both getting stuck. So firing down like this might be a bit of an issue, just because of clipping into our own vehicle. Still think it's worth it, though, considering this won't be a primary combat vehicle, it's just combat capable. I'm okay with that. Well, it seems to handle rough terrain incredibly well. It currently has a single gyroscope on the inside, one of the active gyros from Better Future. Yep, this will do just fine. The problem is, I'm not happy with how this thing is looking at all. So I think I will go away from these weapons, even though I just spent the last 30 minutes messing around with them. 30 minutes I will never get back. But at least, everything is bouncy. Not bad, but I really, really dislike the noise of these small ion drives. The fact they still sound like normal propellers, it really doesn't fit with this. Everything else is so quiet and nice, and then... Maybe I could set it to a different key. That's going to be a little bit difficult, though, since forward propulsion will also link that to the wheels. I don't think there's any way I can redo this. So, the ion drives, although they're not necessary, they do make this way, way easier to drive. Right now, this is probably the easiest driving vehicle I have. By a long shot. It can just handle pretty much everything except for the most extreme. There we are, and because of the gyro, it resists spinning out. It's just so nice to drive, but that noise is going to drive me mad. So the issue is, if we go into here, into the controls, as you can see here, we have forwards and backwards, then we also have the controls for propellers. So it's very easy to have propeller only. So right now, propellers are on, which are the ion drives, but the wheels aren't on, and we can move at a decent pace. But there's no way I can have propulsion, moving forwards and backwards, only with wheels, if we also have the propellers in place. The reason is, if I flip the propeller so it's only going when I go backwards, for instance, if I then activate the propeller using shift, it's only going to work backwards. I would like it to be only usable when I press that button. But sadly, that's not going to work out. Still, though, it does really help. Oh, this is why we need some weapons. And now I can't get past these trees. Not intentional, but pretty cool. Not exactly a huge surprise here, but having the front-facing wheels on the front, I know, again, not exactly a huge surprise, is really good. Because now the first thing to hit almost every angle is the wheel, and not the armor itself. Oops-a-daisy. But don't worry, it's still Lathrix controlling this thing, so it will still be killed by something. Yeah, need to balance those boosters. And I am still really missing the ion drives. They did help more than I thought they did, but for now, I am enjoying the silence. Well, that was pretty good. So, what I've done is I've swapped out the single Better Future gyro for one of the experimental versions. This way, we get back to our normal orientation much faster, which is really good if you're using boosters. The reason is, with boosters, you do tend to overshoot things a little bit, which means we are going to be airborne a lot more often. So making sure we get straight back to our normal position as soon as possible is very, very important. And it doesn't seem to be having any negatives on our normal climbing either when the boosters are off. Yeah, this thing is just an absolute joy to drive. Did I underestimate these wheels? Yes. Drastically, yes. Now with the ability to instantly stop and charge itself. Look, it's not the most exciting vehicle in the world, but it's going to be really useful. That's the funny thing, things like the VTOL I built recently are going to be loads of fun and very flashy, but not get all that much use. Things like this, on the other hand, will be used constantly. Especially if I ever add some weapons. Well, it might not be quite as effective, but I've decided to have the weapons like this, because, well, it just looks so much better. Having the weapons flush with this little thing looks significantly nicer. There we are, some nice basic weaponry, and I've now set this up correctly so we can turn off the shields at will. There we are. So we can go forever without losing power, which is really, really nice outside of combat. And since this thing isn't really meant for combat, that is pretty nice. Now, the issue is, with these not being able to aim downwards, that will cause us to have a whole host of problems. So what I'm going to do is save this, restart the creative mode, and make sure that enemies are allowed to spawn in, and let's just see if we can kill some enemies using this type of weapon. We're very close now to a finished product. And I'm very happy with it. In terms of all of the goals today, I think I've achieved most of them. Although the look I wanted didn't quite pan out because I wanted so much stuff inside the craft, I just couldn't have the sort of thinned middle section which I was after. But still, it's very, very functional and not big for once. So that's nice. At some point, one of these two will hit each other. Just thought I'd showcase this. Truly a battle of titans. And this is why I would like manual aim as an eventual feature in the game. We could also consider side-mounted weapons. Now, there's no chance all of these will hit the same target, but it would mean it's easy to hit with at least one. I'm very tempted by that. Hello, first target. Whoa, you are a big fella. Naturally, our first target has missiles. Sorry, starter techs. Well, we are hitting the target with almost every single shot, so that's good. And we did survive missiles, so that's good as well. Yet that is nowhere near enough damage to really do anything here. Finally. As soon as I say that, of course, we break through the shield, so it worked. Better than expected, but not the strongest thing. Well, going to have some issues with very, very small techs, but yeah, that is working better than expected. Once again, this isn't meant to be a combat tech. It's definitely more defensive than it is aggressive. Loads upon loads of batteries in this thing. It's actually surprising how many batteries I've managed to fit in here. Oops-a-daisy. Now, there should be a fellow. There we are. No, even with small techs, this would be hitting if the rock wasn't there, so yeah, that's fine. So it can aim down a little bit. Now, the first time I tested this out, it really couldn't aim down at all. It seems like that may have been changed. Or I'm just remembering it wrong. I mean, that is also a viable possibility. It's also good at destroying nature, and how can you not love that? Hello there. When the boosters aren't on, this is very easy to control. When the boosters are on, yeah, less so. Yeah, this is fine. Absolutely fine. This would survive quite a lot. So, easy to control. Not the largest thing in the universe for once. Decent weaponry. Very, very defensive. Yeah, I am happy to say this is a finished product. Just a few tweaks here and there, maybe, over time, as I use it more, and I am very, very happy with this vehicle. And I'm very happy with the new wheels. Well, let's do the gauntlet, shall we? So as usual, I'm purposefully not staying out of range of the enemy. And we're going until the enemy is completely disabled. There we are, next up. We could very easily just outrange all of these, because these lasers are very good at that. And there it goes. Okay, sadly now running out of power, we are definitely not winning this. But once again, not meant to be a specifically powerful combat vehicle. We could add way more weapons to this thing, but I think it would just kind of ruin the whole style of it. Yeah, and here is our death. There we go. Okay, so what's my overall opinion then? I really like this craft, honestly. I really, really do. It was super fun to use. And I'm not 100% taken by the style of it, but it looks okay. It looks fine, I think. Just looks a little bit silly. But I'm okay with that. Silly isn't always a bad thing. And it certainly fulfills all the roles I set out to make it fulfill at the start of the video. That was a really weird way of saying that. Well, I'm afraid with that, I'm all out of time for today's video. I would love to spend a bit more time building this because really, although it's not anything breathtaking or game-changing, it's just such a good general-purpose little craft. I mean, I could see myself using this constantly as a first choice, so sometimes the more general-purpose thing is just the best for, well, more general-purpose tasks. Who would have thought? So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. The next Terratech video will likely be after the New Year's, because now I am going on all my holidays over the holiday season at seeing people, seeing family and friends, and it's going to be a very busy time. But don't worry, I have lots of ideas as soon as I'm back. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.